Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going. As I like to point out every single day, it expands our base. This is a podcast I could not have ever imagined having to deliver. The words of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance accusing the Democrats, and particularly Biden and Harris, of being responsible for the attempted assassination of Donald Trump is absurd. I was shocked, and I don't mind saying this, when we heard Senator Scott say on CNN, "Is this a plot?" Or when Eric Trump said, "They are trying to kill my father." Let me also point out that the Libertarian candidate for president, a man by the name of Chase Oliver, said anyone who murders Harris would be an American hero. It is equally appalling to me, the idea that is being promulgated by some Republicans, and I want to emphasize some Republicans, that the Democrats want Trump assassinated. I was shocked by Elon Musk, now one of Donald Trump's closest advisors, a man who we are told will be central in Donald Trump's second administration should he win the election, discussing the fact that Biden, Kamala have not been shot at. The implication being that, well, you got it. Of course, he took it down after he was told it was wrong. Why am I reflecting on this with you? We are in the midst of a presidential campaign. There are major issues which need to be discussed. Ukraine, the Middle East, public health here in the United States of America, housing, issues that transcend these kinds of name-calling and recrimination. Today, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance will go to Ohio, and we are told that in the course of their camp, I beg your pardon, I'm wrong. It's not Ohio, it's Michigan. I'm thinking of Ohio because of what is going on right now in Springfield, and we'll get to that in a moment. No, they're going to Michigan, and they're going to stand on a stage, and inevitably, they will accuse the Democrats of conspiring to kill Donald Trump. I'm making that statement because that is what they are saying now. There is something wrong. And when I mentioned Springfield, Ohio, just a moment ago, I wanted to be very clear about this. There are no refugees in Ohio eating dogs and cats and geese. The whole notion that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are promulgating this thesis, repeating it continually, when we know it isn't true. The governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, has made it clear. The mayor of Springfield has made it clear. Elected public officials, including Republicans, have made it clear. What scares me is that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are making wild accusations and, yes, are polluting the American political system. There is a book called Unhumans, The Secret History of Communist Revolution and How to Crush Them. I picked up this book because I wanted to see whether these conspiracy theories are old or new. Jack Posock and Joshua Lissick are the authors of this book. I want you to know that Steve Bannon wrote the introduction, that there is an endorsement of this book by J.D. Vance. There is an endorsement of this book by Donald Trump Jr. There is an endorsement of this book by Lieutenant General, USA retired Michael Flynn, among others. This book, like the kind of rhetoric we are hearing now from Trump and Vance, promulgates a thesis that we are involved in a tragic web, a conspiracy to destroy America. Do you know this book, endorsed by the personalities I just indicated to you, support the ravings of Senator Joseph R. McCarthy? That's right. This book promulgates the thesis that what happened on January 6th was legitimate patriotism. I could read you sections of this book, but I won't. This is really a campaign like no other in American history. We have never seen this kind of paranoia used and employed by a candidate for president of the United States who was a former president and a vice presidential candidate who is a sitting United States senator from the great state of Ohio. The question is, will the American people wake up? Will we wake up? Will we understand that this kind of destructive rhetoric, these kinds of endorsements of conspiracy theories, these misstatements of fact, these accusations against a president and a vice president of the United States, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, suggesting that they are responsible for attempted killings? I mean, how do you even classify this? So I am today telling you, I would have preferred to talk about Ukraine, the Middle East, many of the American domestic problems. I would have preferred to focus on this presidential campaign. But my friends, how can you when Donald Trump and J.D. Vance stand before people, as they will today, in Michigan, and accuse the Democrats of trying to kill Donald Trump? I ask you to think about this. But more than that, I ask you to convey the message of this podcast to your friends far and wide. Because what is happening now, frankly, scares the living bejeebers out of me. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along. Let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand. You can interact with me on LinkedIn and Facebook. And of course, I want to extend my deep appreciation to Gogo Zoger, the wonderful producer of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am concerned, frankly, about our future. And today will, no doubt heighten those concerns. I will see you tomorrow.